So I'm back in the kitchen, and with the stay-at-home initiative right now, I decided I would make an old family kolache recipe. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. Okay, so we're gonna put together this kolache dough. I'm not gonna move my camera around. I'm just gonna keep the angle down here on my workspace. So here we go with this recipe. I just love making these little videos. I know I'm not very good at it, but my hope is that someday, you know, like my grandkids especially, if they ever want to see grandma cooking or gardening or any of the things that I loved, they can look at these little videos, and anyone else out there. So this recipe does call for 2 tablespoons of yeast, and it calls for it to be pre-activated in water. So lukewarm water, about 85-ish degrees. You got to be careful with that because you don't want to kill the yeast. So soften the yeast in lukewarm water. Oh, I'm scalding some milk back here on my stove. Okay, so I have my scalded milk, sugar, shortening, and salt combined in my mixer bowl, and it's cooled to lukewarm. And then the recipe says to add about half of the flour. Okay, so I've incorporated about half of the flour. The next step says to add the yeast and the eggs. You do want your eggs, it doesn't call for this in the recipe, but I'll put it in mine. You want the eggs to be room temperature so that they don't reduce the temp of your mix and cause your yeast to stop working. So you want your eggs to be room temperature. Okay, so my mixture is pretty well combined. I did add a little extra flour. And the next step is to knead the dough. I'm just gonna knead it right in this bowl, you guys. I'm just incorporating, pushing down. Of course, kneading, what you're doing with that is you're getting those glutens going. And I put some extra flour in there, and you're just gonna knead it for 4 or 5 minutes till it's oh God, look at that mess, sorry. Till it's smooth. I'm really enjoying all this baking. I'm gonna put these in the freezer, I think is my plan once I get them made up and save them, because oh boy, we don't do a lot of baked goods around here. You know, the whole getting older and trying to lose weight and be healthier. But this is very therapeutic, and I'm enjoying the heck out of this. So I oiled, oh yikes. I had that sitting on the warm stove because I didn't want this bowl, which is what I'm gonna put this in, I didn't want it to be cold, the dough going into a cold bowl to raise, because that'll just take it down. You want everything to be warm. You want your house to be warm. You want the dough to stay the right temperature and everything. Otherwise it won't raise. So I'm gonna put it in this bowl and let it raise for about an hour till it's about double in size. I'm gonna cover it. You want it to raise for about 45 minutes. Look at that. Look at that cute towel. I got this from my friend. How sweet is that? It has bees on it, and it says be happy. Sage advice for all of us. So we'll be back in an hour. Okay, so our dough for our kolaches has been raising for about an hour. There you have it. Big reveal. I'm gonna roll it out. I'm gonna put a little flour right here on my impeccably clean granite countertop. I'm gonna roll this right out. Okay, boy, it feels really good. So far, so good. As far as I know, I'm gonna cut this in thirds. I'm gonna take 2 of those and stick them back in the bowl, and then I'm gonna cut this in thirds. And this is a part, you know, I've never made these before, so I'm just kind of going by what I think here. I'm gonna make little balls here, because you have to do a double raise on these. You can see there. I don't know if those are too big. Yeah, I just remember kolaches as a kid, so I'm really excited. God, those look kind of big to me. I bet I could do. Sorry, you guys. This is what it's all about. I don't want them that big. And they're gonna raise some more. I'm gonna have kolaches coming out of my ears here. The dough's very similar to some of my roll doughs. But yeah, my aunts would make these all the time. Well, I don't know about that, but I do know whenever I went to a family event, it was always on the menu. You know what I might do with some of this dough, if this batch, I'm gonna bake off this first batch, and if they turn out, I'm probably just gonna freeze the dough just as it is, or I might make them into shapes and then put them on parchment paper. And, no, of course I have an odd number here. How did I manage that? And freeze them. I'm just gonna freeze the dough without the filling in it probably. And then I'll have pre-shapened kolaches that I'll pull out of the freezer. And so there you go. We'll let these raise for about 10 minutes. Okay, so my kolache dough has been resting for about 10 minutes. I made up some of this crumble topping, and here's what I'm gonna fill them with. Cherry pie filling, which is one of my favorites, and then some store-bought apricot preserves, store-bought strawberry preserves, and then I made some Colorado peach jam, and I am gonna use some of this. We love peach filling. Now this did not set up the way I had hoped, but I'm gonna use this fork to strain out some of those chunks of peach, and then I'm going to use a store-bought peach preserve for the thicker part of the filling. back. I'm getting ready to take my first batch of kolaches out of the oven. So here we are, the big reveal. They look pretty good. Okay, wow, and they smell amazing. I'm gonna put another, I know my lighting in here isn't very good, but I'm gonna put another 9 batch in the oven. So we'll get that going. About 20 minutes. I only have one hot pad, but look at those. Oh, wow. I'm so pleased. This was so fun.